Top story on the show this week. Bangladesh interim government advisor Muhammad Yunus has once again come out with provocative statements. One may wonder, why is it that he's issuing veiled threats to India, and in fact has commented on India's northeastern states, appealed to China to extend in the region. Muhammad Yunus was on his first bilateral visit to China. He spent 4 days there. And the one big thing that came out from there is that he asked Beijing to make an extension, saying that the 7 sister states are landlocked by Bangladesh to its west. What does this threat signify? Is he looking at some sort of a veiled threat to India? Does it mean that China will now have more access to the region? We're going to evaluate all of that. But first up, listen in to what Muhammad Yunus said yesterday while talking to representatives from Beijing.
7 states of India, eastern part of India, called 7 sisters. They are landlocked country, landlocked region of India. They have no way to reach out to the ocean. We are the only guardian of the ocean for all this region. So this opens up a huge possibility. So this could be an extension of the Chinese economy. Build things, produce things, market things, bring things to China, bring it out to the whole rest of the world.
All right, I'm going to now put forth those big questions that we are asking on India Global today. The shocking China pitch that Muhammad Yunus is making. First up, is Yunus now making a very clear and a veiled threat to India when he's talking about the 7 northeastern states? Next question, how should India really respond to Dhaka's threats? They're almost not veiled if you ask. It's very clear that he wants more Chinese presence there. Next question, Bangladesh-China bonhomie. Is this now a growing and alleged concern for India to handle? And lastly, how will Yunus's possible Pakistan visit impact India? Remember, they've exchanged not just Eid greetings, but a possibility of Yunus going to Pakistan on his next state visit. What does this add up to? What can be India's response? Let's get in Muktadir Rashid, who's a senior journalist from Bangladesh. Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, joining me on the broadcast. In fact, let me give the first word to Veena Sikri ji, which is that it's not just an isolated incident here. There are 2 very important things. One, Muhammad Yunus has said that, in no uncertain terms, he wants greater Chinese presence in India's backyard, coming at a time when he is wanting to now have more than just friendly overtures with Pakistan. His next visit may very well possibly be to Pakistan, taking Shahbaz Sharif's invitation. How do you read this and connect the dots for us?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to realize that the present regime of Muhammad Yunus is not a legitimate government. It's not, it doesn't have any constitutional position. It is there only as a passing phase. There are going to be elections very soon. And the people of Bangladesh are clamoring, all the political parties are asking more and more for very quick, free, fair and inclusive elections. So this is something that we have to keep in mind, that it's not that something you need to react to on an everyday basis, because this government is not there for all time. It's, and in fact, the more that
but
the
no one knows how long
party,
it's there, ma'am. No one knows how long it's there.
Yeah, but the more and more that the Islamist parties like the Jamaat-e-Islami, the Hizb ut-Tahrir and the Hifazat-e-Islam and the Islami Anmol in Bangladesh, the more that they are exerting their pressure on Muhammad Yunus, the more the people of Bangladesh are reacting adversely and they are asking for quicker elections, number one. Number two, coming to the specific statement that has been made in China, I think, first of all, the overall visit of Muhammad Yunus to China did not go very well at all. He did not get any of the big promises that he was hoping to get from China. And even the joint statement doesn't have any big announcements. It has just been a normal routine visit. And now he's trying to incite people of the Chinese businessmen to whom he was addressing to come to Bangladesh. Now, when he's doing that, he has the temerity to talk about access to Northeast Indian states. These are legitimate sovereign parts of India. You cannot offer access to China to them as an extension of the economy without consulting India at all. So this is the completely unacceptable part. And I have to say no more than to say that all the Northeastern states have unanimously reacted in a furious way to this statement by Dr. Muhammad Yunus. We've had the statement by the Chief Minister of
Muktadir Rashid, respond to that. There are voices coming in from Tripura saying, why not break Bangladesh instead? Because who is Bangladesh to go about talking about India's northeastern states?
Exactly. We've had even the TTC.
Yeah, I don't want to
and
take
we've
it a
had
very.
that. I want
Let's
let
get
me
in a
finish
word
my-
from Muktadir. Yeah.
I don't want to say it in a very negative manner because there are possibility for the Seven Sister through Bangladesh, and of course the Chittagong port and the Mongla port, which is connected direct to the Seven Sister. And we have lots of potential and share interest of both sides. I mean, for the Seven Sister to Bangladesh, and that could be the possibility. And I don't want to take a very in a negative way this proposal that if that there is a Chinese investment in Bangladesh and Seven Sisters, the countries of Seven Sisters can get, the states of Seven Sisters can get benefit out of it. I don't find anything
No, but
negative,
you've
the
gone.
issue
No,
is,
no, no.
I'm coming to the point.
Muktadir,
The
I am going to give
question
you all
is-
the time, and there's a reason
Yeah.
why I invite you on the show is because I consider you to be open to reason, at least some amount, right? So my
Yeah,
question is very simple, which is your leader has gone to China to evaluate Chinese investment opportunities inside Bangladesh. Where exactly does India figure in this? Talk about Dhaka, talk about Beijing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm coming to. The problem is that China and India sometimes don't understand the people's will of Bangladesh. In past, we have seen that China, the country who backed Hasina for a longer period of time. And eventually that India followed the rule and they also go with the, Sheikh Hasina, and it didn't work well. So first we need an electoral government which will have people's mandate to decide what kind of relation we need with China, we need with Pakistan, or we need with India. But current government, the Yunus government is trying to, somewhat incite
But none
India.
of that is stopping Muhammad
Yeah, but
Yunus
they
to
are trying
undertake
to-
state visit after state visit, make statement
Yes,
after
it's just-
statement, which are provocative in nature.
Yes, just try to incite India. nothing
Why?
else. Because
What do you
he
think
does-
could be
he-
the objective?
I don't know, because he wants to stay power for a longer period of time, I guess. Because his press secretary,
Exactly.
Shafiqul Alam, his press
Islamists
secretary-
are and the radical
I'm
elements
not-
in Bangladesh.
I'm not saying the Islamists
are the
or the
reason.
radical element, but I would say the Shafiqul
No, who will
Alam
like
is-
anti-India statements, Muktadir, tell me? Muhammad Yunus wants to stay in power. He's making
No.
anti-India
There are-
statements. Who will
there are
benefit?
lots of
Who wants
leftists.
those statements?
Maybe many leftists give anti-Indian statement. That's the different thing.
Veena Sikri.
But let me finish.
Sure.
What happened with Shafiqul Alam, the press secretary to Dr. Yunus, he shared a post yesterday that one of the Facebook user wrote that they want Yunus for 5 years. What does it mean? We are really...
It means there are no elections happening in your country anytime soon, sir. Unfortunately, that's
very
what it means.
unfortunate, and
Veena
that's what
Sikri,
we are
respond
worried
to
about.
that.
I think this is what the Muhammad Yunus regime wants. They want no election. They want to stay on in power. They're talking of reforms, which is not even the mandate of an interim regime. They have to just hold elections and go. That's it. And in fact, I don't think they're even qualified to play the role of a caretaker regime. They're not qualified for that because they're not neutral. They have political parties in them. That's all. But let me come back to the talking about, to discuss what Muhammad Yunus said in China. I think it's very, very provocative and condemnable that Muhammad Yunus talked about being the guardian of the Seven Sisters, the northeast states of India, access to the Indian Ocean. I think he is trying to rebut and refute all the agreements between the governments of India and Bangladesh on access to Chittagong port, through Tripura, through the bridge on the river Feni, on access to Mongla port and the riverine transport through Bangladesh to Zakiganj in the northeast. So all these, if he is trying to refute, then he cannot expect that from India he will get any rights of a lower riparian if he's going to break all agreements like this. And the second part of his statement, I must tell you, he spoke about telling the Chinese businessmen, oh, there's so much power, electricity in Nepal, there's so much electricity generated in Bhutan, and please come to China, it will come. How will it come to Bangladesh except through Indian territory? And on the one hand, you want to talk about, attack India's sovereignty and talk about offering the northeastern states as an extension of the Chinese economy.
Exactly.
And on the other, you want
Veena
India to
Sikri, I'm
give
running out of
access to-
time. Muktadir Rashid, I want to ask this final question to you, which is that there is an invitation on the table from Shahbaz Sharif for Muhammad Yunus. Now, after a state visit to China, if he goes and undertakes the state visit to Pakistan, with absolutely no thawing of relations between India and Bangladesh. What kind of a message is Muhammad Yunus sending to India?
It's a different phenomena for Dr. Yunus, but I don't think he wants to spend time with this kind of a state visit so that the people will say, the populist people will say like, oh, they see how powerful Dr. Muhammad Yunus is. But we don't want to go for any kind of binary, whether we need India or China. We shouldn't do that. Even in Pakistan, I spoke to so many Pakistani friends. They don't want this kind of relation. They want to very reciprocate and respectful relation. We also want to, very mutually respectful relation with Pakistan, with India, with China. We should not make enemy for others. We don't want to play the Kautilya's theory. We should have our own kind of narrative. We should have our
I
own
gave you all the time on the show only out of fairness. But I have a difference of opinion on this,
Please.
Given the fact that the statements that have come in have been so provocative, so vile, so one-sided. I don't think this business of having equal ties with all stakeholders is really going to work out. I'm going to wrap this right here. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me today on India Global. Bottom line, viewers, is that on the eve of the BIMSTEC summit, there have been multiple overtures made by Muhammad Yunus to meet Prime Minister Modi. But how can that meeting take place when there are provocative statements that are coming in from the Bangladeshi side, in fact, bringing in India's sovereignty, India's northeastern states? They are at the heart of how India and Bangladesh relationship will progress from here on. Provocative statements challenging India's sovereignty is not going to get Muhammad Yunus any further in terms of thawing of relationships and moving forward with India.